It's great to be here.
I'm always very happy that you're about to come, and we were texting, and we'll text about what we're going to talk about when you come, and then something happened at a rally.
Yeah.
Donald Trump name-checked you at a rally.
Yes, and it wasn't nice.
No.
It wasn't
nice at all. Let's take a look, and then and just tell me what happens in your brain when the president says this about you at a rally.
Okay.
Jake Tapper today, he put out, no, I know you don't like him. I know, who likes him? Who the hell can like him? I think his wife likes him, actually. I really believe she does.
So, there's a couple crazy things there. He wasn't actually bringing you up to disparage you, because he then was going to talk about reporting that you had done that was actually reflected well on him.
Yeah, well, yeah, or as less horribly.
Less horribly, yeah.
I had some reporting that suggested that somebody who briefed the House Intelligence Committee maybe overstated the case in terms of whether or not the Russians preferred him or just, thought they could deal with him, thought he was a transactional deal maker. And some of the reporting was that oh no, the intelligence community thinks that, they prefer him again. And so it was actually kind of helpful to him. But see, it's so symbolic of how he gets in his own way. He's so driven by vengeance that, even when he's going to cite my reporting, he starts off by telling everybody that I'm completely unlikable. This guy's horrible. Don't listen to a word he has to say. He said something good for me.
Well, what I note is that when you watch the clip, one of the things that happens is the people at his rallies, they like having villains. And so when he mentions Jake Tapper, they start to boo.
Yeah, there was a stirring in the crowd.
There was a stirring, and so then he has to revert back to what he's done in the past. Bad guy, Jake. Anyway, like you said.
Although he backed off a little, no one, who likes him? Who the hell likes him? His wife likes him.
That I thought was nice. I thought that was really nice. There are some people where he doesn't even bring up their spouses.
Yeah.
How did your wife react to that?
Well, you know my wife.
Jen, wonderful.
Do you think she likes me?
I do. I mean, we've been out a few times, and at least one of them, she seemed into you.
Yeah. I'm told that she likes me, but I need a second source.
Yeah.
So just a journalistic
report on it. Yeah.
Journalistic thing.
Did she call you after it happened?
It's so funny. This is where we are now. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, if something like this had happened, a president of the United States insulted me and brought my wife into it, then I would have immediately gotten a phone call from my wife. Can you believe it? She hadn't even heard.
Yeah.
I'm I texted her and I'm the president just insulted me. And she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. and I'm like, no, and he brought you into it. She's like, what? And I sent her the clip, and she's like, oh, that's so funny. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
It's all just. It's like, living in some crappy apartment right out of college, and the furnace is constantly making noise, and by you don't even hear it by the first week.
Yeah.
It's just oh, the president's insulting you and questioning your marriage in front of an entire world, and oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then your parents come and visit your dorm room, and they're like, that's banging, and you're like, is it?
Can't hear it. Can't hear it.
It's
just noise.
There is I think whether or not Russian interference is going to be pro one candidate or the other, it does seem like just causing chaos, causing mayhem, causing
succeeding.
doubt.
They're succeeding, yeah.
And there's no reason to think just because they so effectively use technology, and technology advances every year, that it won't be more effective 4 years on from 2016. How do you go about reporting on the elections when you know there's this undercurrent happening? We don't really truly know many of the details.
Yeah, no. I mean, first of all, I think that 2016 was a horrible education for a lot of us. The first time that the DNC emails were hacked and then released through WikiLeaks, the Clinton campaign came out and said, we think it's the Russians. But nobody in the Obama administration was saying that publicly. So there was an entire world that didn't know that the Russians did this sort of thing. Now we know, we have more education, we have more information. And I think one of the things is you have to be aware that a lot of the stuff on social media is just not real, or it's lies. And it's just something that we all have to keep in mind. Whether it's your grandparents reading things that they see on Facebook, or not yours specifically, or people on Twitter who seem like real people, and then it turns out they're not actually real people. And they say that the Russians this year are going to get even more sophisticated because they're going to do stuff from inside the United States, so it's not even as detectable as doing it from outside.
And, I think one of the reasons it is so effective is that we, not just as Americans, but more as human beings, you want to believe things you read that serve your own messaging. And so you don't have to be that effective, it strikes me, to trick someone as long as you're saying what they want to hear.
Well, people always want to believe the narrative that they've bought into. And in fact, when I was reporting the thing that helped President Trump theoretically on Friday, it was really astounding to see how many people who wanted to believe the worst, that the intelligence community had briefed that the Russians had a preference, which is true, and that it was true, it was definitely accurate, as opposed to some national security official saying, hey, this briefer got ahead of her skis. It was really amazing to see how many people just completely started attacking me, national security columnists and commentators or whatever, because people want to believe what they want to believe. There's also just the impetus that people are generally inclined to trust people.
Yeah.
You're generally inclined to believe that the person in front of you is not lying. Even if we are being hit with a barrage of lies day in, day out.
Yeah.